Hi, in today's NeuVector Minute, we're going to take a look at CVE 2020-8554, better known as the man-in-the-middle attack that came out late last year. Yes, it's March and we're still talking about this, so let's figure out how to mitigate this attack and more importantly, how to spot and stop attacks like this in the future. Let's do this. All right, so let's explain how this works. For that, we'll bring in Cartoon Janet and her regular old Kubernetes environment, which has several pods and containers running in it. We all know how the internet works, right? But as a quick refresher, we have a container that might make a request out to the internet at large. Of course, it hits DNS, asks what that domain name is, gets an IP address back, and it connects to the end website. Fantastic. You understand this. Maybe this is a nice animation for that uncle who keeps asking you what it is you do for a living or how the internet works. There you go. But moving on, let's talk about how this particular exploit works. So we'll draw in maybe a brand new namespace. Now the reason I'm putting this here is because in most environments, namespace users are allowed to create containers and pods in their namespace. Very, very normal behavior. In this case, and I'll even show you, so here is the YAML that actually works for this. What we're going to do is we'll create an external IPs tag inside of that YAML file and use that IP address. Now, any pod in that container environment is going to resolve that IP address as normal, but it's going to hit our brand new created container. Now, this isn't some spoofed up, mocked up version of the origin website. This is purely a traditional and tried and true man-in-the-middle attack. So now traffic routes on through this newly created container and heads out to the internet as normal, but the traffic's intercepted in between. So what makes this even more scary is the origin pod is none the wiser. This looks like normal traffic in both directions. Same can be said for the egress and ingress controls. This also looks like normal traffic going to the internet, and your edge perimeter firewalls are none the wiser. So how do we mitigate against this? Well, obviously patches have been put in place. NeuVector already has a patch put into place immediately after this was discovered. But the larger lesson here is attacks like this are going to continue to happen to your container environments. So how do NeuVector users mitigate these attacks? Well, first of all, those attacks are stopped by way of NeuVector's understanding of the internals of the network inside of your Kubernetes and other container environments. With a permit list and an implicit deny any at the bottom of that, you know what behavior is desired and understood inside of your environment. So even before a patch was released, NeuVector users wouldn't have been vulnerable to this kind of attack. It would have looked like abnormal behavior and we would have blocked it. If you want to know more, check out the blog we've written on this topic and reach out to us for any more questions at theminute@neuvector.com.